jump right away, and we'll go here to Matthew. Thank you very much, Matthew. He says, hey, this process for Craig Stammen stinks all around. Tingler 2.0.
Well, that's your opinion. Those of us who've dealt with Craig Stammen, I dealt with him a lot as a pitcher, and just kind of know what he stands for. Deserves the opportunity. Everybody comes from somewhere. His somewhere was a bullpen. Smart dude. I mean, we're talking real baseball intellect, who had this game plan: when I am done throwing strikes out of my bullpen, I'd like to work in a front office. And he went in and he was involved in player evaluation, teaching of players, etc. We know his experience in the Padre clubhouse, good times and bad times. So I'm not going to negate the hire, because this guy has really served a lot of roles, and he's just really, really smart. Now, that's just checking off one box. The second box was keeping Niebla the pitching coach. The third box is they got to go get pitching. And that's going to be the enormous challenge as to how Preller's going to execute getting guys in here, because they need starter 2, 3, and 4 at least. And we don't know whether Musgrove can be vintage Musgrove at least out of the gate. So there are going to be some more transactions. He doesn't like it. Your response?
Well, let's actually, David here had a comment. He says, will Niebla leave the Padres for a better team?
No, he's got a contract extension. He is staying here. He was at the press conference today.
Yeah, it seems like they're a united front, those two. Oh, so that's cool. That's going to work out quite nice for the Padres.
And they've been together since Cleveland, because Stammen was with the Cleveland Indians when Niebla was there. And then...
Wait, really? Yes. I mean, I knew Stammen was with the Nationals.
And then he went to Cleveland for 1 year.
Oh, he did?
And then he came here.
Oh, I didn't know about that 1 year.
Niebla was in the farm system and then got himself elevated to be the pitching coach.
Okay.
So, okay.
All right.
Next one.
Oh, my God. The list here is gigantically. I'm going to start from the top. Michael says, hey, with the Padres signing a new manager and now without a hitting coach who signed with Houston, who do they have in mind to fill that vacancy?
I don't know where the track record is in terms of the past of Stammen. I mean, Stammen's been a major league pitcher for 13 years, so he has crossed paths with a ton of good people. Off the top of my head, I'm so busy today, I have had no time to think about potential candidates out there, but we'll do some digging around, and maybe by Thursday's show, we'll have a much better feel. I was told today that Stammen's going to try to have this staff locked down by Friday. So maybe by Thursday, we'll have a much better feel.
Yeah, it's got to be the worst job in professional sports.
The
San Diego hitting coach. And you said, what, 12 hitting coaches and 15?
This will be the 12th one they hire.
That's just too crazy. I mean, because that used to always be such a rotten job. You know, Callan had an answer. He goes, how about Steve Finley or Mark Loretta for hitting coach? A couple of players who won Silver Slugger awards and still work or represent the club in the front office roles.
Well, it's interesting. Loretta was an initial candidate, took part in the first round of Zoom interviews. I don't know whether he wants to be a hitting coach or not. Finley's here. Finley's done a lot of different things. Another name that's out there is Darren Erstad, I think, wants to get back into Major League Baseball.
Is he at Nebraska?
He was a head coach at Nebraska for, 5 to 7 years, and then stepped away from that. And he was kind of a candidate for something with the Angels, but has not been hired back there. Maybe his name surfaces too. So I'll be intrigued to see what they do.
Okay. All right. Let's keep on moving. Let's go here to Casey. Hey, good afternoon, guys. Hacksaw, nice win by my Rams yesterday. How do you see them going against the Seahawks this weekend?
If this game was in Seattle, that'd be a hell of a challenge, because you have to deal with the weather and the crazy Seahawk fans, but it's here in LA at SoFi. And I'll tell you what, there'll be a lot of people wearing Rams colors. Yesterday, color of the day was black and gold.
Oh, big time.
Holy cow. I mean, Chris Collinsworth couldn't believe. He said, I thought we were in Pittsburgh. I looked out the window. There's no Allegheny River out there. He said it was just amazing. But this team is really good. And this team stayed free of injury for the most part. That's one of the intangible things. You look at some of these other teams around. Look at Washington. Washington's just been destroyed by injuries. Chargers offensive line's an absolute fiasco. But Sam Darnold, I want you to meet the Rams pass rush. Holy cow.
Well, right now, are the Rams like one game back, I think, in the NL West, or are they tied for first?
No, they're in first.
They're in first.
Yeah. So,
you look at the top teams in the NFC, it's got to be the Rams, the Eagles.
And then maybe Seattle,
the Tampa Bay sort of out there, and maybe the Lions.
Yeah. Well, Detroit's always going to be there.
Yeah.
But Rams are not getting any national love. Everybody's so enamored with Dan Campbell, Detroit, and rightfully so. The Rams are playing unbelievable football. You find me any quarterback in the league's got 25 touchdowns and 2 picks. Got a quarterback rating of 119.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. The quarterback rating has always been this weird algorithm that figures that out. Do you understand it?
No.
Now, doesn't it like max out like around 119 or 120?
124, I think, maybe is the max number.
And over 100 is good, right?
Oh,
But if you're in the 90s, is that still good?
it's decent.
Okay.
We got some guys in the NFL have quarterback ratings at 70.
Yeah, that ain't cutting it.
No, not at all. Trevor Lawrence is having I don't know what's happened to his career down in Jacksonville, but boy, Matthew Stafford, what a phenomenal season.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Okay, don't miss. Sunday's going to be great.
Okay, here's a bomb. It's kind of harsh from Jay. He goes, I knew Aztec football wasn't for real. God, they suck.
Well, that was a one-off. They played well. Now, part of me has always preached, well, wait till you start playing somebody. Well, they did play somebody. They punched Fresno in the mouth, but Fresno was playing a quarterback making his first start in Division I. So that was a bit of an issue there. And then they turned around and, boy, they got walloped in Hawaii. I couldn't believe that did not look like the same team. So now the challenge is right there in front of them to play Boise State, but it's here. So they've not dealt with adversity on the road very well. So I think that's a big issue. I think coming home is going to help them. Whether or not we have a sellout, that remains to be seen. And we don't know if Boise's quarterback, Maddox Madsen's going to start. He had an ankle injury 2 weeks ago. Boise's coming off a bye. If Boise doesn't have Madsen at quarterback, then it's not quite the same offense. So it's going to be a good game, but it's right there in front of them. They beat Boise. They eliminate Boise, and then they get San Jose and they get New Mexico. They can pretty much wipe out, because these other teams are still playing each other. They're going to knock each other out of this mix too. So big game, because they'll hold the one-loss tiebreaker with Fresno. If they beat Boise, they hold that one. I think it's over.
Yeah, that was just like you say, a one-off. But the Washington State loss, we're saying that was a one-off. But in other games, they've looked really good. Mm-hmm. It's just sometimes it's tough being a fan of a group of 5 team, because you have one trip, you stub your toe once and it's just game over.
Yeah.
Ohio State, Alabama, they could lose 1 or 2 games. They're still in the playoff, so you're still in this, it's sort of like a junior varsity league. And you want them to do well. And it seemed like this game against Hawaii, they were just outsmarted. I mean, it just seemed Hawaii had an answer for everything.
I got out schemed. I thought they got ambushed. I did your word with the headline you put up, ambushed on the islands, was a true thing. But that's a much better team than played last Saturday. And coming home they'll be amped to play Boise. And this can be a huge challenge for Boise. And San Diego State has beaten the Broncos a couple times, beat them here. And under Rocky Long, they beat them up there.
How do you think attendance figures are going to be for this Boise State game?
I'd love to see it be a sellout, but
if they would have won in Hawaii, I think the vibe would be a little different than it is today.
The vibe is the air kind of came out of the balloon a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sean Lewis's press conference today was just, I'm not going to say crappy, but it was crappy.
Well, he's been bouncing off the wall, so he's got a little bit of humble pie, I guess.
Well,
but overall, this program's still like 7-2 or something?
Yeah, right now.
That's pretty good. That's better than we would have expected.
Well, I said a couple of weeks ago, if these dudes wind up 10-2, that's a pretty good accomplishment. But it's right there in front of them, and they stumbled.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, let's move on. Thanks, Jay.
Okay, and from Renard, he goes, what do you think the Padres have to do to be competitive again?
Well, they're competitive in terms of the batting order, but help wanted. Padre pitching. They need arms. I don't know where they're going to go get guys in this rotation unless they go to Japan. And again, AJ has great relationships there. He's brought players from the Pacific Rim over almost every year. Whether it's a short-term rental like Nick Martinez or something of significance like Robert Suarez or Ha-Seong Kim, he's found guys. And right now there's about 3 pitchers in Japan. One of them from the Cebu Lions just was posted today. So if he can get a pitcher from Japan or a pitcher from Korea, and if they could get one of the veteran free agents, I happen to like Brandon Woodruff from Milwaukee, who was just a dominant starter. I talked to him about him on TV on KUSI on Saturday morning. He was dominant till he got hurt, and it took him 2 years to come back, but he pitched really well at the end of last season for the Brewers. If they could get him, or they get Imanaga from the Cubs, on shorter rental term contracts, now you've helped yourself. My first priority, I'd do anything to get Michael King to come here on a 2-year deal.
Oh, yeah.
You offered him 22 to start, make it 2 years, 44. Because I don't know that he'll get that out there somewhere else. Now, if he wants 3 years or 4 years, I'm not giving him that. He's got to be healthy. But offer him first year 22, second year my option 22. That's 2 years, 44. And we'll see how you do when you're age 32 and age 33.
Well, to be competitive, right? I would say today they meet that standard. But I think as Padre fans, we want more than that. We want to be more than just competitive. And they're never going to be, seen. It's apples and oranges with the Dodgers, right? Because the Dodgers can spend so much money and have so many guys that suddenly become healthy in August and September, and they have this robust bullpen, going into the playoffs. The Padres have to kind of hit on certain guys. I mean, like the way they hit on Jackson Merrill
or Lugo.
Or Lugo, you got to pick that diamond in the rough or this unexpected rookie that's going to exceed expectations. You got to have like 2 or 3 of those kind of guys to get the stars to align for the Padres to have that magical season. I mean, Machado and Tatis, they're going to be Machado and Tatis, but you need to have like that lineup needs to be at least 7 deep.
Well, they need a bat with some form of power, and I don't know if that's a left fielder or whether that's a first baseman. They need to find a bat. And then they need to find at least 2 starting pitchers. Because I sit here and I look at this roster, now that Arise is gone and Ryan O'Hearn's gone, and obviously all the pitchers who are exiting, I look at this roster, and then I look at the Dodger roster up here, the ones being fitted for World Series rings and the gold standard pitching staff and all the All-Stars.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah, they look way back of the pack.
Well, but I mean, every team is looking up to the Dodgers in that way.
Yeah, but we're in the division.
I know it sucks to be us, but you just can't compare them. You've just got to, like you say, focus on our own business. You got to hit on a couple of guys to have a magical year, and then maybe you can slay the dragon again.
Take Hacksaw's proposal to Michael King and see if you can get him.
That's a good one. I think I like it. You mentioned Luis Arise. Jeff says, hey, hope the Angels can acquire Luis Arise and have him play second base.
Maybe, but I don't think he's great defensively, although in his defense, I thought he played a really competitive first base for them. I mean, he made a lot of plays. His batting average really tumbled, though. What did he finish, 282? I mean, he was way off what he has been in the past. It's a fixed cost. I'm not paying him more than $14 million. Made $14 million here last year. The Angels need to get another bat. But the Angels, they need to get health more than they need anything else. So I'll be intrigued to see how quickly the Angels move and what they can accomplish there. Free agency has just started. There'll probably be some signings in the first couple of weeks before we get to the winter baseball meetings. I don't think any of the mega stars are going to sign, but it doesn't mean you can't go into the marketplace and find somebody that fills a role for you.
Yeah, Arise would be all right with the Angels. I mean, but Arise to me is like the cherry on top kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a whole bunch of really good players, and he's just that one extra piece.
But $14 million, that's a lot of
it
lot
is
of money
a lot
for
of money.
Curry.
And if you're the Angels, you don't want to be focused on I mean, granted, whatever the dollar amount is, you don't want to have your attention focused on someone like Arise. You want to have your attention focused on guys that can be more than a one-star player, a one-tool player. I mean, so the Angels need much more than that.
They need pitching. Hey, spend your dollars and get me Imanaga and get me somebody else to strengthen that staff. But they got holes everywhere in their lineup too.
Yeah, I mean that's a building project right there.
Okay,
let's go to Hector. Hi, Lee. With the indictments of Clase and Ortiz, this is a reminder to people from left field that Pete Rose can never be allowed in the Hall of Fame. I think he's taking a shot at me. The integrity of a sport is the most important thing, and once lost, the sport dies. Just look at the state of boxing.
Yep, I concur. I think John and I both are on the same way. How could you be so stupid? Totally. I mean, everybody's making so much money. How could Clase be so stupid? He just signed a $20 million contract, and he's doing this for nickel and dime stuff. Oh, so I hope it's not the tip of the iceberg, but there's a lot of stupid people out there. There's 6 more college basketball players that just got expelled by the NCAA over the weekend for point shaving, gambling.
Yeah, yeah, it's a
I mean,
problem.
it's everywhere. So
It is. It's a problem. It's gonna, like you say, it's a tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more that's going on. I hope the guys that are still involved in this are kind of getting spooked, and stepping away from it.
simplest words to end this: death penalty.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do something like that because I mean, Hector's right. I mean, you have to have integrity to the game,
Right.
no doubt about it. But in my opinion, Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame because he's part of the story of baseball. And the gambling and the even the death penalty should be built into the plaque, that says this guy effed up the game.
You put an asterisk right there.
Yeah. And then that's how you get the attention. You're not condoning Pete Rose's gambling by giving him a plaque. You could do it in a way to condemn him, just like a museum showing of Adolf Hitler. You have to show the whole story.
Hector, good question. Thank you. Go ahead, John.
Okay, let's go to Joe. He goes, hey, anything to the report that John Gruden is the possible candidate to be next at Stanford?
I don't know. This is such a different world in college football right now. I mean, it's intriguing to me. Stanford probably it's such a unique place academically. It's going to take a special coach to want to come in there and coach in that unique set of circumstances because you're recruiting a very different type of student athlete at Stanford. I had heard initially that the Penn State coach might wind up being a hot candidate to go there because Penn State has real strong academic standards too. But at this point, Andrew Luck's got his hands full trying to get to the end of the season. I think they're 3-7. Frank Reich did him a favor to come back and be the interim coach. I know Gruden's been out of it a chunk of time, and Gruden's got a track record of doing stuff that's kind of in a dark area. I don't know if Stanford wants to go in that direction. And I've not heard Gruden's name mentioned anywhere by anybody else.
The last thing I heard about Gruden is he got the Aztecs kit, in the mail, with jerseys and hats and everything else. Yeah, if you especially like an institution like Stanford, you just can't go there.
Yeah, I think that's a reach.
Okay, now I'm going to present 3 comments here in a row because they're all kind of linked. This first one is from Jim. He goes, hey, are they going to call the new stadium the Orange Bowl? Talking about President Trump. And then John says, hey, Lee, sorry, but your president pardoned his son while he was facing the music. Say what you will about Trump, but his kids aren't getting indicted for crimes. And then Frederick wrapped it all up for us and says, hey, if I wanted political horse shit, I wouldn't go to a sports podcast.
Well, when sports intersects with politics, with apologies in advance, we do have to cover the topic on the table. We don't do it very often. The rest of the podcast, though, in all honesty, Frederick, is bleeping brilliant.
Yeah, right here. Shut up, Hacksaw. You're a blue belly and biased. People didn't take too kindly to your comments. All right, let's get out of the world of politics. Let's talk about the Dodgers. This is from Showtime LA. Hey, I think the LA Dodgers has to stop messing around about the closer and just sign Edwin Diaz and Devin Williams and Tanner Scott as a 7th inning guy would be great to let him get his confidence back.
How hard do you think it'll be? We come in here one morning to do this podcast, and Robert Suarez is being fitted for a Dodger jersey because his name is in the mix too. I don't know who I'd trust more, Suarez or Diaz. Diaz was really skitterish with the Mets, and he had some elbow problems. It's kind of seemed to haunt him as they went along. Devin Williams did not pitch well for the Yankees for the most part. And of course, he was in Milwaukee before that, and they let him go. So I don't know. It's interesting. There are some really good names out there. I just happen to like Suarez. I think used properly, not overused. Suarez got 88 saves. Why are people down on him?
Well, he's good, but not great, and you always kind of question how much should you be invested in your closer. I mean, the closer is important, but is it that important? Mm-hmm. But Edwin Diaz, that'd be a great pickup there. Devin Williams would be, he had moments there where he was the setup guy for Hader. Right. In Milwaukee. So he could do the job, although I know he was shaky in New York.
Very shaky.
It seemed like he didn't like the spotlight. So maybe going to LA may not be a good fit. And Tanner Scott's going to come back.
He's got 2 more years to go. They just need to fix him mechanically.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the input.
Okay. Let's talk some puck with Jeff. He goes, Ducks at Colorado tomorrow night. The top 2 point leaders in the NHL. It should be a good game.
I'll tell you, Ducks are just rolling. Colorado, we didn't have time to talk about this. I don't know if you saw what happened Saturday. Colorado went into Edmonton and beat the Oilers, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and all them, 9-1 in Edmonton on Oilers ice. People just losing their mind over Stuart Skinner, who got pulled in the first period. It just
They have a love-hate relationship with
yeah, they really do. 9-1. And Edmonton's off to a kind of a I mean, the Rangers, that's got to be the crappiest start I've seen in a while from a high-priced team. But the Oil has not had a good start to the season. And, Anaheim just beat Winnipeg. Winnipeg's off to a flying start. The Ducks beat them. Ducks have won 7 in a row.
Did you say where they were 10-3-1?
Yes.
That's a hell of a start.
Yeah. How about those guys in Orange Country?
Orange Country.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right. Let's go here to Neil. Talk a little bit about the USC Heward punter scandal. He goes, the issue is the players can't have the same number and play the same position. By him going into the game as a punter, he's now a punter as well.
Yeah, they did. I found this out because the Big Ten is going to sanction SC. That's what I heard this morning. But they put him on the 2-deep chart that's distributed to everybody, wearing number 80. That's not Sam Heward's number, but for that game, and nobody at Northwestern paid any attention to it. So he was listed as number 80. But the Big Ten said this is unsportsmanlike conduct. You can't do that.
It's I think I read, and I'm sure if I get my facts straight, is that when Heward punted the ball as or threw the fake punt as he was the punter at that time.
Yeah, he was getting formation.
And then when the next time they came to punt with the real punter and wearing number 80, then that would have been the violation. So technically that's how it would have rolled out. But I don't know. I at first I thought this was like a clever idea, for them to try something creative here. But if they broke a rule, they broke a rule, and they got to pay the price.
No, they'll get fined. They're not going to take the victory away from them. But and Lincoln Riley was just going crazy. Hey, we pulled one off. How about creative juice and all that? All right, next one.
Okay, let's go here to Mr. One Smith. First snow of the season today. I could use Dixieline out here in Indiana today.
Oh,
they're getting killed.
Oh, big time. Do not want to be in Chicago at this hour. You talk about the Great White North and Arctic. Wow.
Well, it's Monday, so I keep thinking, is this going to affect football games? What about Monday night, Thursday night games? Where are they being played?
Well, the weather changes. I guess yesterday the Chicago game had snow. So, yeah, I mean, it's real Arctic right now up in the Michigan, Illinois area.
Yeah, the whole Great Lakes Midwest, They're just getting pummeled. Okay, let's keep on cruising here, and let's go to Dale, talk about the Chargers. Hey, the Chargers have 5 wins against real people, Saul.
Well, we'll see. After they get done with Jacksonville, they get to their bye week, and then after the bye week, they start playing real people again. I mean, they still got to go to Denver. They still got to go to Arrowhead Stadium. Keep that in mind. So there's some tough games there, and Justin Herbert is just taking way too many hits. So, but there's nothing they can do. They just got to tighten the screws here, change some of their formations, keep an H-back or a tight end in to help on some of this pass blocking thing. But boy, he got whacked by Pittsburgh last night. He's lucky he got up because I didn't think he was going to get up.
Yeah, some players are like injury prone. They're kind of a little bit more frail.
And he's tough as steel.
He is. I mean, he's like a tank. I mean, that guy is unbelievable. I mean, but like imagine the abuse that he's getting if someone like Bryce Young was getting hit that hard. I mean, Bryce Young would be.
He's always hurt in Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be in the hospital if he was getting hit the way that the Herbert gets hit.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not going to say they're living on borrowed time because they have the potential still to be a really dangerous offensive football team. But the quarterback is, to me, it's like an injury waiting to happen. And that worries me because they've just not been able to tighten the screws to help him along the way. Hey, listen, we hope you have enjoyed this podcast. We had an unbelievable number of topics on the table. So we'll be back here on Thursday at 1:30. We'll kind of step back, give you, the fans, more time to express your opinions.